Episode 99. Here we go.
Man, 99. That's awesome.
Yep. Let's see. I need to do this.
Hi, this is Leave It Bates, and you're listening to the Oversell Podcast. Da-da-da-da. You better enjoy it or else.
It is episode 99, and we have our biggest episode ever. It's all trivia. Get ready. This is the Oversell Podcast. I guess I don't need to really dance during that when we're doing YouTube Live because I look like a moron.
I was dancing too, man. So,
ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Oversell Podcast. My name is Derek.
I am Mike.
I am Dan.
Joining us tonight is a special guest host who's going to help us through with, I think no other wrestling podcast is going to do what we're doing tonight. It's our first ever full trivia podcast. He is one of the hosts of a very entertaining podcast that, if you're not subscribed to it, you're making a mistake. It's Trivial Warfare. Subscribe on iTunes and wherever podcasts are available. Chris Hollister. Chris, thank you so much for helping us host our first ever all trivia episode.
Derek, how the heck are you, man? Thanks for inviting me on.
You know, it's been a long time talking. I think we've both been really excited for it. And if you don't mind me saying, Chris, I think you, around your house, you told me that you've been a little giddy coming up for doing an all wrestling trivia.
Oh, absolutely, man. I've been watching wrestling since I was about 10, 11 years old, and I'm talking about that's the Saturday Night Main Event, and anytime that it was like on Saturday mornings when they showed that. Shoot, I even watched the old Hulk Hogan cartoon series that was on.
Wow, yeah.
I know, yeah. Yeah, the rock and roll. What was it? Rock and roll.
Rock and wrestling.
Yeah, rock and wrestling. Thank you very much. Yeah. See, this is why I want to do a trivia with you guys. You guys know so much crap. And that's why I was getting excited about doing this, was because, man, I could just unleash like all these awesome questions and everything like that and really kind of test you guys and see how it is.
We're so going to disappoint you.
Well, we'll see. Actually, at Trivia Warfare, my partner in crime, Jonathan Oakes, who's the what I call the franchise. He's the guy that runs everything. I asked him the questions, and he kind of gave me some feedback. So if you hate the questions, don't blame me, blame him.
And that is at Trivial Warfare on Twitter if you want to.
That's right. And if you want to find me, I'm at Warm Up Chris on Twitter as well.
So you said you've been watching wrestling for since you're about 10, 11 years old. Who are some of your early favorites?
Oh, goodness. I was a Hacksaw Jim Duggan fan. And then, like later on, especially in the Attitude Era, it was Mick Foley all the way because he was so funny. I gravitated to the funny wrestlers, so it was him. And then in WCW, it was Jericho with the 1001 holds. Arm bar.
This was meant to be because anyone that listens to this podcast knows my all-time favorite wrestler is Chris Jericho. Like without a shadow of a doubt, he's right here in my man cave, looking us on with his microphone like he should be.
He's looking over your shoulder.
Looking over my shoulder, even though that day he met the wrong Derek.
Yeah.
So, I can't believe. Also, we're going to try. This is going to be a huge undertaking for me this episode, but we're going to try to.
Yeah. As an Undertaker?
Uh-huh. We're going to keep this episode. We're going to keep this episode off so very clean because I'm going to try my best not to curse. So if I do, I guess I'm going to have to go in and edit everything and put a bunch of bloops out.
We'll see how that holds up after about 4
So what's the over-under on this?
It depends on if it's one of those where, I don't know, if I know if I'm close, I'm going to get upset.
Maybe we should dock points if he starts cussing.
We could do that.
A good one. All right. Well, I'm going. Anything in the wrestling world right now you guys want to get into before we get into trivia? Any quick news or anything like that? Big stuff going on. We got next Friday, June 23rd at 3715 Perkins Road. You'll have your boy here doing his first play-by-play commentary gig.
Nice.
Come on, folks. I think it's going to be $10 to get in, $15 VIP front row. It's going to be a great show. I saw that Bishop Cage is going to be on this show. I have to call a freaking Bishop Cage match, and that scares me. I've seen Bishop Cage wrestle so many times, and there hasn't been a time where he's walked past me where I haven't looked like, please just don't hurt me.
Just speak kindly of him.
Oh, that's what I will do.
You should legitimately be scared.
Yeah, exactly. But be sure, hey, folks, Committed to Wrestling, look them up on Facebook and check them out. It's going to be at 3715. It's the same place where they record RSWF, or where they have RSWF on Saturday nights. Anything quick in the wrestling world we need to get to? Any big thing? I don't think anything.
There was a Universal title sighting.
Yeah. Whoa!
Like it showed up.
Brock Lesnar and the Fruit Roll Up was finally the Fruit Roll Up title, as my friend Fred at Connection on Twitter, the letter K FABE Connection on Twitter would say. That showed up, and then you had. Did you guys hear the news on Dave Meltzer today?
About
he gave Okada and Omega 6.25 stars.
Really?
So he gave the last one 6 stars. This one it was even better. So if you don't have, go check out New Japan World and watch Okada Omega Dominion. Hell of a match. I've got to go back and watch the rest of that card. Guys, I don't think I really have much else. I was mostly planning for trivia, trying to get my brain all pumped up and stuff for the first ever full wrestling trivia podcast.
Well, I do have a event coming up for NWA Smoky Mountain this weekend. So we got steel cage match, television title cage match, Chris Richards and Axton Ray. Southeastern heavyweight title match, Chase Owens and Sean Schultz. Jeff Conley versus Jason Kincaid.
Bullet Club member Chase Owens, right?
Bullet Club member Chase Owens, yes. He's from Bristol, Virginia. He's just up the road. Toby Farley versus Lenny Stratton, NWA Smoky Mountain Empire champion. Tracer X and Devin Driscoll. We've also got a tag team turmoil match. Just about every tag team known to man's in this one, you boys. Let's see. 4-way match. Draco, Chase Jordan, Caleb Courageous, and Corey Storm. And this is all happening right here in Kingsport, Tennessee at the wonderful, wonderful Kingsport Civic Auditorium. Bell time, I believe, is 7:30. Don't quote me on that, though. Yes, it is 7:30. June 17th. This Saturday, June 17th, 7:30, Kingsport Civic Auditorium. Smoky Mountain Wrestling, NWA style. Come see us.
Come see Billy Corgan.
That's right. Well, we don't have Billy. We don't have Billy Corgan yet.
All right. Well, I'm going to hand the show now off to Chris Hollister. He is our trivia master this week, and he's going to put us through the grinder, I think.
All right. Well, one of the things that we do on Trivial Warfare, the very first segment of our show, is we do a segment called Warm It Up, Chris. And this will give you no points, but the point of it is just kind of warm the brain cells up a little bit and see how you guys go. And we'll do it round robin, and we'll see how everybody does. All right. So let's see. So we'll do it Derek, then Mike, then Dan, if that's okay with you guys.
Works for me.
Right?
Okay. And the question is I want you guys to give me the top 10 wrestlers who had the most pay-per-view the top 10 wrestlers who had the most pay-per-view main events as of Extreme Rules 2017. So I'm going to say, Derek, why don't you give me an answer? You'll give me one. If you're right, we celebrate. If you're wrong, we get to pick on you a little bit. So that's all it is. That's, again, worth no points. So, Derek, you're up to bat.
I'm going to start with John Cena.
John Cena, number 2, with 68 main events.
Wow.
Well done. All right, Mike.
Gonna go with this is all time.
This is all time. Well, as of pay-per-view, so I guess as of WrestleMania 1.
Okay. Then I will go Stone Cold.
Stone Cold, number 6 on the list with 41. All right, Dan, what do you got?
How about The Rock?
The Rock, number 8 with 33. So you got 2, you got 6, and you got 8 after the first round. Derek, you're up to bat.
Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels, number 4 with 48. Nice job. All right, Mike.
Hogan.
Hogan, I'm sorry, not on the list. I was really shocked about that, but I guess it may have come in a time where, and I mean, and mind you, this is WWE, so I mean,
Right.
it could be that. I mean, remember they only started off with 4, and he was main event in all of them.
Right.
So yeah, I think just sheer numbers now that they got like 87 a year. So
Yeah.
so all right. So Dan, you're up.
I always have to pronounce it just like William Regal says it. Triple H.
Triple H is number 3 on the list with 67.
Wow.
Nice job.
Well, usually when we do these questions, I always burn myself because I never pick my guy. I got to go with Chris Jericho.
Jericho, number 9 on the list with 30. You made it.
One.
And I'll tell you this: there's 3 tied for 10th, so it's actually 13 that are on, or excuse me, 12 on this list.
Wow.
So, all right, Mike.
I'm going with Undertaker.
Number 1 with the bullet was 69 main events. Cue jokes here. All right, Dan, what are you thinking?
Oh, getting down to the nitpicking here. Man.
Excuse me.
I'm drawing a blank, boys. Man.
Let's see. We've got
thinking here.
we got a couple guys that aren't wrestling. We still got, and we got, let's see, we got 3 guys that are not currently wrestling right now. 1 because he retired, 2 because they're doing other stuff, and then we've got 2 guys that are on the current roster and then they're showing themselves up on a weekly basis.
What about Randy Savage?
Randy Savage, I'm sorry, not on the list, my friend.
It was worth a shot.
Derek, you're the only one that's been perfect so far. Can you make it happen?
Let's see. We got John Cena, Stone Cold Rock, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Undertaker. Man, main events. No, I don't think it would be him. Let's go with Batista.
Batista is tied for 10th with 26. Good job. Still perfect. All right, Mike.
Randy Orton.
Derek's favorite wrestler, Randy Orton, number 5 on the list with 45.
Oh, Randy Orton. Boo.
You know he's your favorite. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Dan. What are you thinking?
Oh, man. Well, they took Evolution away from me. Well, the only one left on Evolution is Ric Flair, but I don't think he main evented any. Well, he was on pay-per-views, but he never main evented that I remember. At least not any that I remember.
Dan, that's a really good thought. Keep that in mind. In other words, don't do that.
Yeah. Oh man. Shoot. I'm just taking stabs in the dark now. Eddie Guerrero.
I'm sorry, Eddie's not on the list, my friend. All right, so we're gonna do one more round, and then I'll give you any that aren't on the list. Derek, can you be perfect and warm it up, Chris? No pressure.
I'm just going to go because he's on the wall behind me. Kurt Angle.
No, I'm sorry, man. Kurt Angle not on the list.
Oh, that's surprising.
So, all right, Mike. Last shot.
Edge.
Edge, tied for 10th with 26.
That's a good pull.
Good job, man.
Good
all right,
pull,
Dan. Last guess. You got one that's currently, that was legitimately on Monday night, and then you got one who's doing some other stuff right now. You just figured it out, didn't you, Derek?
Dang it. I'm going to say it, but I know it's not right. The Miz.
Miz, I'm sorry, not on the list. Derek, what were you thinking?
Brock.
Nope, Brock Lesnar not on the list.
Oh.
Okay, so 1 was Undertaker, 2 John Cena, 3 Triple H, 4 Shawn Michaels, 5 Randy Orton, 6 Stone Cold Steve Austin, 7, which you guys did not get, with 38 Kane.
What?
Kane.
You always
That was my
forget-
next one.
Kane.
Someone
Yeah.
you always forget about.
Yeah.
Yep. Number 8 with 33, The Rock. 9 with 30, Chris Jericho, and then tied for 10th with 26, Edge, Batista, and the last one you didn't get, Big Show.
Big Show.
Ah, Big Show.
Yeah.
Freaking
So, and that is your warm it up, Chris, question for the Oversell podcast.
awesome. Well, now we're going to move on to the main trivia game, which means I get to play my favorite intro.
All right.
It's time for a little bit of wrestling trivia.
Oh, man, that's so good to hear. I love that song. I do. Chris, that was a fun warming up Chris question. Now it's time to raise the stakes, and it's time for a little bit of wrestling trivia. You've got it.
All right. And as my partner in crime, Jonathan, would say, it's time to play the game.
Dun,
So,
dun, dun.
all right. Yep. Cue Motorhead. It's too expensive to play it.
So,
All right. So, go ahead, sir.
Did you want to, for those that have not listened to at Trivia or the Trivial Warfare podcast, you want to explain to them what we're going to be doing tonight?
Absolutely. So Derek and the guys have given me permission to play Trivial Warfare style. So we're going to be doing 6 rounds with 3 questions each. Each question in the rounds are going to be worth 10 points. So it's 180 points. Halftime question is going to be there's going to be a halftime question. It'll be worth 20. So that's a grand total of 200. At the very end, we're going to have a gauntlet question. And what the gauntlet is it's 3 questions with the same category or similar category where you can wager all of your points. Now, here's the thing with the gauntlet. It's all risk and all reward right there, or all risk and no reward. If you miss one of the questions in the gauntlet, you lose all your points. But you get all 3, you can potentially almost double up your points. So there's 400 points available, and I'm ready to play if you guys are.
And for those that also don't know, the way we're going to do it is 2 of us will lock in answers, and then the third one will be able to think out loud without the other 2 being able to change their answer or anything. That's how you guys do it on your show, right?
Absolutely. Thanks, Derek. I appreciate that. Yeah, everybody's got pen and paper, and they're just going to say, I'm locked in. They'll circle it. And then once the second person's done that, then the third person, we like to hear what your thought process behind it. And so.
Okay. Dan, you good with the rule?
I'm good.
Mike, you good?
I think I get it.
Okay. Chris, it's all yours,
All right.
man.
All right. Actually, and I'll keep score if that's okay with you guys.
Okay. Cool.
All right. So, all right. So your round 1, question 1 category is in wrestling literature, or as my buddy Ben on the show calls it, literature. And your question is, what WWE Hall of Fame wrestler's autobiography is titled My Life Outside the Ring? The question again is, what WWE Hall of Fame wrestler's autobiography is titled My Life Outside the Ring?
Yeah, we're all screwed. This is great. We watch wrestling. We don't read good.
mhm.
I have faith. Mike, I have faith in you.
All right. I'm going to lock in.
I'll go ahead and lock in too.
Mike, give us your thought process there.
There's not much going on. Stalled on that wheel. Yeah, I'm locked in, but just because I don't want people to wait.
All right. Well, Mike, actually, you just give out your answer.
I'm gonna say Edge.
All right. Edge. Okay. So, Derek, what did you get?
I wrote Ric Flair.
All right. Dan, what were you thinking?
I would say Bruno Sammartino.
All great guesses. Actually, it was the brother himself, Hulk Hogan.
Wow.
Hulk Hogan is your answer.
I didn't even know Hulk Hogan was smart enough to read a book, yet alone. I can only imagine how that book was written. Hey, brother, period, brother. Let me tell you something, brother. Pythons, brother.
Raiders.
Well, you got to remember, all these guys, except for Mick Foley, have like ghostwriters. So I'm sure that dude probably did the heavy lifting on that one.
Oh yeah.
Very true.
So, all right. Well, let's see if the next question gets you guys on the board. The second question 2 in round 1 is champions. The category is champions. What WWF Hall of Famer was the inaugural champion of what is now known as the WWE Intercontinental Championship?
I am locked in.
Okay, Mike's locked in. Again, for everybody, what WWF or WWE Hall of Famer was the inaugural champion of what is now known as the WWE Intercontinental Championship?
I'm locked in.
All right, Derek, talk it out.
So there's a couple of names that were running through my head. There's Tito Santana, whose action figure is actually looking at us right now, who I think is one of the greatest Intercontinental champions of all time. But then I started thinking, and I came to an older name, and that name was probably the man behind the Intercontinental champion. I said Pat Patterson.
Okay, Pat Patterson. Mike, what were you thinking?
Pat Patterson.
Okay, and Dan.
Pat Patterson.
And everybody is correct. The answer is Pat Patterson. Well done, guys.
Woo! I'm so happy I didn't say Tino.
Man, I tell you what, I would have loved to have seen that guy in his prime for sure, because I just hear nothing but good things about like just his like philosophy and just like how well he wrestled and everything. So
Apparently he was a big prankster too.
oh, you gotta love that.
Go back and watch one of the old seasons of Tough Enough, and he told this story about he had a guy in his trunk, and his job was whenever they honked the horn twice, he had to open the trunk up, and he was naked and fly through the
Oh my goodness! Wow.
and then at some point he's noted Pat Patterson noticed that a cop was behind him, and he looked at the guy riding with him. And he's like, "Well, gotta do it." Honked it. Guy opened up, and it was naked and everything, and the cops pulled him over and gave him a ticket.
Well, at least they didn't arrest him, man.
That's true. That's true.
All right. So your question 3 in round 1 category is geography, or what we like to call geography. Just to let you guys know, we're having a little bit of a lightning storm going on right now. So, yeah, I know, right?
I can't hear anything. It sounds good.
Okay, good deal. All right, your geography question is: what city in 1990 was the first to host a WWF pay-per-view outside of the United States? And here's an opportunity to get 2 bonus points. For 2 bonus points, name the pay-per-view. So you will name the city that was outside of the United States for the first time in a pay-per-view, and then if you want bonus points, you'll name the pay-per-view.
I'm locked in.
Okay.
I'm locked in.
So it's 1990.
1990. That's correct.
Dan, we're both locked in, so feel free to think out loud.
Yeah, they can't change their answer. If not, then we'll like shock them with like the lightning that's going on outside right now.
This well, my first thought was like Calgary Stampede, but that was like 93, 94, 95, somewhere in that area, because that was the big buildup of Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I think people were still trying to figure out if he was heel or face at the time, but they went to Calgary and everybody cheered Bret Hart anyway. So, but that is not the time period. The time period. The first pay-per-view outside of the United States.
That's correct. Yeah,
1990.
1990.
Oh, dang. And I do I have to do the pay-per-view name, or do I have to tell what the city is?
No, I want the city, but if you want 2 bonus points, you'll give me the pay-per-view.
Okay. All right. I think I've got it.
All right. Well, what's your answer?
I'm going to say it's the Sky Dome in Toronto.
Okay. And do you want to throw out a guess for the pay-per-view? You don't have to, but it's bonus points. So
Yeah, I'm thinking it was one of the WrestleManias, but WrestleMania 6.
okay. All right, Mike, what do you have?
Probably the wrong answer. But I'm going into this as just whatever comes into my head first and try not to think too hard about it, because then I'll talk myself out of possibly getting it correct. I'm just saying London and SummerSlam.
Okay. And Derek.
That was around the time I think they were doing a lot of stuff with the British Bulldog. And I said London, England, SummerSlam.
Okay. And the answer? Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and WrestleMania 6. 10 with the big points.
Oh, man. Wow.
Nice job, Dan.
I had my doubts about the year. That was what was screwing me up.
Yeah, I believe that was the Hogan Ultimate Warrior match, correct?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Two
So-
superhero, two comic book heroes going at it, in my opinion, in that match.
Oh, absolutely. And having a pretty good match, if I remember correctly. I'm going to have to go back and watch that thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Well, after round 1, Dan is in the lead with 22 points. Derek and Mike, you both have 10.
It's okay. Just give me a few rounds. I never win trivia.
All right.
Ever.
All right. So your round 2, question 1 category is former in-ring names. Triple H debuted in WCW in 1994. During his tenure with WCW, he actually went by 2 names. Can you name me one of those 2 names that Triple H went by?
I'm locked in.
I'm locked in.
All right, Mike.
I'm locked in as well.
Okay, well, let's see. Derek, you want to do you actually, we'll let Derek talk. Mike,
So
what was your answer? Oh, I'm sorry. Whoever, go for it.
go ahead, Mike.
Terra Rising.
All right. Dan, what do you have?
I got Terror Rising as well.
Okay. And Derek, what were you thinking during this?
I said Terror Rising because I remember a story of some dude writing it on a pizza box and giving it to Triple H like, yep, there's your name.
Yeah, because he said he called him just Terrorizing. And then he said, that's a dumb name. So he just put a slash down the middle of it. Okay, you're Terra Rising.
Yeah.
Man, that's fantastic. You guys know the story and everything. The answers are Terrorizing or Jean-Paul Levy-esque.
Yep.
And he actually did that as a tag team with William Regal towards the end of his WCW career before he went on to obviously bigger and better things. But
Yep.
everybody
Great
got
name.
it. Great job, guys.
Boom.
All right. So your question 2 category is in streaks.
Streaks.
Yep. We're not going streaking. Although that would have been a much better category name. I should have thought of that. All right. So category and question 2 category is we're going streaking. And
Time to turn the webcam off.
don't want to scare anybody off there for sure. So your question is, who ended Bill Goldberg's streak of 173 consecutive wins without a loss at Starrcade 1998? Who ended Bill Goldberg's streak of 173 consecutive wins?
I'm
without
locked in.
All right, Mike, talk it out, my friend.
I'm locked in. So
Okay.
I have it.
Well, what do you think?
I knew it was one of 3 people. I'm going with Hogan.
Okay, Hogan. Derek, what do you got?
If I remember correctly, Scott Hall came out and hit Bill Goldberg with a cattle prod to help his friend Kevin Nash get the win.
All right, and Dan.
Ditto on that, Kevin Nash.
Okay, and the answer is Kevin Nash.
Big sexy coming through, baby.
Well done.
And
All right.
Kevin Nash got through that match without hurting himself too.
surprising.
Yeah.
I remember the Scott Hall thing. I just couldn't remember who it was that was actually in the match.
That was the Wolfpack, baby.
That
I'm
was
sure now.
that was back when his quads weren't tearing on a regular basis.
I was going to say, I'm sure he tied his shoes later on that night and hurt himself.
There you go.
All right. So your question 3 category is in founding fathers. Now we got a Ring of Honor question for you going on right now. So, because man, we've been doing a lot of WWE stuff. So, 3 wrestlers are acknowledged by Ring of Honor as being the founding fathers of Ring of Honor. I want you to name one of those founding fathers.
I'm locked in.
All right.
I'm locked in.
All right, Dan, talk it out.
I think I've actually got it. I think I was about to lock in too. So I'll go ahead and say I've got. I think Christopher Daniels was in there.
All right, so we got a Christopher Daniels answer. All right, Derek, what were you thinking?
I said Master of the Yes, Daniel Bryan.
Daniel Bryan, okay. And Mike, what were you thinking?
I went with CM Punk.
CM Punk. All right, the answers are Low Key, Christopher Daniels, and Bryan Danielson, but Daniel Bryan will absolutely take. So yeah, they actually were in a triple threat match at their very first Ring of Honor pay-per-view, which was called The Era of Honor Begins, which was in February 23rd, 2002 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, which was just amazing because that was the home of ECW. That I think ECW went up like about a year before then.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway, after that match and the quality of that match, a number of years later, Ring of Honor acknowledged them as the founding fathers of Ring of Honor. So, and if I just bored the crap out of all you guys, my apologies. I just thought it was a cool story.
No. Those 3 guys in the ring at the same time. I'm sure that match was above and beyond.
Yeah. I don't know if Ring of Honor has like their old stuff out there, but man, I would love to see it.
I'm sure it's out there on YouTube somewhere illegally.
And they also have,
good point.
They also have a website. I don't know if it's like the WWE Network. I think they have some sort of service you can get where it's a ringside member, and you can get. I know you get discounts on pay-per-views that they do and stuff like that.
Very, very cool. All right, yeah, I've got to check it out for sure. So, all right, after 2 rounds, we got a pretty good show going on here. Dan has 52 points. Derek is right behind with 40, and Mike, I'm rooting for you, man. You got 20 points. So
because he's a Randy Orton fan.
See, that's what it is. Right. He's taking a dive.
Dives.
All right. Your round 3, question 1 category is in women's championships. The WWE Women's Championship originally begins in 1984. However, what WWE Hall of Famer does the WWE claim the lineage to begin with in 1956 with the NWA World Women's Championship? That's a lot of questions, so let me repeat it real quick. What WWE Hall of Famer does the WWE claim the lineage to begin with in 1956 with the NWA World Women's Championship?
I'm locked in.
Okay. Mike's locked in.
I'm locked in.
All right. Derek, talk it out, man.
So there are 2 names that are going through my head right now. There's Mae Young and the Fabulous Moolah. And both were incredible women's wrestlers in their day. Mae Young broke down so many walls when it came to women's wrestling, to where she was actually, back in the day, pretty intimidating backstage, even to the men. But, man, this is a tough call. I'm going to go with Moolah.
Okay, Moolah. All right. Dan, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking Moolah as well.
All right. And Mike.
Fabulous Moolah.
All right. And the answer is the Fabulous Moolah. Good job, guys. Whew. That had to feel good, didn't it?
That one felt good.
I was stuck on the same 2, and then when you started talking up Mae Young, I was like, ugh.
Yeah. I think Mae Young was like the first ever toughest woman.
Right.
She was today she would be considered like Tamina Snuka to Dan.
I've talked with several people who have actually met Mae Young backstage, probably 10, 20 years ago, backstage when she was, showing up pretty regular on WWE TV. And even then she was intimidating. So, yeah.
I tell you what, the storyline with her and Mark Henry, though, still gives me nightmares. That was just disturbing.
I will give this, at least they had some continuity with the hand.
Oh. Oh, my goodness. Oh, man. All right. So, well done, gentlemen. We're going to go into the next question, and that category is formerly known as. And your question is Extreme Championship Wrestling, or ECW, was formerly known as what before Paul Heyman changed the name in 1994?
I'm locked in.
Okay, Dan's in.
I am locked in.
I am locked
All right.
in.
Okay, well, Mike, you get to talk about it.
Well,
Or just give an answer.
I was going with Eastern Championship Wrestling.
Okay, Derek.
The rise and fall of ECW, I think I've watched 100 times because that when that came out, that was probably the best. Mike.
Oh yeah,
that was like the best wrestling DVD they had put out.
Absolutely.
And it started off with Shane Douglas throwing down the Eastern Championship Wrestling title, the NWA title, and declaring himself the Extreme Championship Wrestling champion.
Yep.
All right, so you're going Eastern Championship Wrestling as well?
Eastern Championship Wrestling.
Okay, and Dan.
Ditto here, Eastern Championship Wrestling.
All right, and the answer is Eastern Championship Wrestling. Nice job, gentlemen.
Whew.
All right, Mike, you're on a roll here. You got 2 so far in this round. Let's see if you can do 3, brother. Brother. All right, guys, your question 3 category is obligatory TNA question. All right.
This is the one I will know.
I go. We'll go ahead and give this one to Mike.
I had to try to find something to ask about TNA. So, all right.
You had to put obligatory in the category.
Well, this is a wrestling trivia. I was trying to branch out as best I can.
That's awesome.
So,
That's awesome.
All right. So, what father and son combo founded Total Nonstop Wrestling, now known as Impact Wrestling, in 2002?
I'm locked in.
All right, Dan's in.
I'm locked in.
All right, Derek, talk it out.
These two gentlemen spent a lot of time in Memphis wrestling, one of which was one of the fathers of the Memphis wrestling territory. So I said Jerry and Jeff Jarrett.
Okay. And Dan, what do you got?
Ditto here, Jerry and Jeff Jarrett.
And Mike, the TNA expert.
Jeff Jarrett.
All right. And the answer is Jerry and Jeff Jarrett, Triple J's. Well done, everybody. All right.
There's another, Chris, on Amazon, there is a DVD or a movie called Memphis Heat, The True Story of Memphis Wrestling, which really goes through the history of the Memphis territory. Is one of the best, I think, wrestling movies you can watch because it's so rich in history. And I say that to anyone new to this podcast. If you haven't watched Memphis Wrestling or Memphis Heat, The True Story of Memphis Wrestling, please go check it out on Amazon.
So is it a documentary or is it a movie?
It's a
Documentary.
Yeah, it's a documentary. I would really like for them, though, to pick up where that movie left off, because there's still like at least 3 more decades that they could cover as a documentary piece.
Yeah.
So I'd really like to see Memphis Wrestling or Memphis Heat, the story of Memphis Wrestling Part 2. If anybody's got the money and the funds to do it, that'd be an awesome documentary. To keep going.
What we'll do is we'll start a Kickstarter, and when we get enough money, we'll do it ourselves.
There you go.
There you go.
There you are.
Yeah, I tell you, I was trying my best to put in a Memphis wrestling question, but I really didn't feel comfortable enough doing that with the 3 of y'all, and so I'll have to watch that documentary so that next time, if I'm good enough and you guys have me back on, I can actually ask a question with a little bit of thunder behind it.
I'm winning, so you're doing fantastic.
Well, speaking of that, going into halftime, Dan, 82 big points. Derek, close behind with 70, and Mike with 50. That was a good round for you, Mike. So
I know stuff.
you're back and better than ever, man. So, like I said, you're my boy, man. I got a feeling that second round's gonna be your round. So, all right, the midpoint question. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask you guys a question that has 4 answers, and what I want you to do is just write down all 4 answers, and I'm gonna give you 5 points for each answer that you have right. Okay? So
Got it.
the category for the midpoint is called wrestler names. I'm going to give you the actual name of a wrestler, and for 5 points each, I want you to tell me the wrestling name. And I'm talking about the most common wrestling name that they're best known as, okay?
Gotcha.
For example, if I asked you Adam Copeland, you would say
Edge.
Edge. Absolutely. All right? So,
Adam, that doesn't count, right?
no, it does not count. All right. And I
No
will
points for you.
And I will tell you this. There are 2 classics and 2 currents that are on this list, okay? All right. One of them a Hall of Famer. The other one should be in the Hall of Fame, in my opinion. So, all right. The first one, and I'm going to give you all 4, so don't. So just write them down, and then we'll let you guys think about them, okay?
Okay.
All right. So the first one is Aurelian Smith Jr., and the first name is spelled Aurilean. Aurelian Smith Jr. The second one, Rebecca Quinn. The third one, Steve Lombardi. And the fourth one, Jonathan David Good. So that is Aurelian Smith, Rebecca Quinn, Steve Lombardi, and Jonathan David Good. So when you guys have your answers, just say locked in, and then whoever the final person is gets to talk it over. And again, they're worth 5 points each. So if you get 1, you get 5. You get all 4, you get 20.
What was Jonathan's middle name again?
Absolutely. Jonathan David Good. Does anybody need me to repeat any of the other ones?
Just
Bueller.
because I like hearing your voice.
Okay. Bueller.
Should really pay more attention to the actual people.
Why would you do that?
For instances like this and no other.
Yeah. Well, I know I got 1 for sure.
I think we all have 1.
Yeah.
I am locked in with all my answers.
All right. I'll be honest with you. I think this is the toughest question of the night. And
I think I nailed it.
ooh, he's calling a shot, boys. And then he gives the nervous laugh after that.
Yeah.
No, it's ha, 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 ha.
Oh.
Let me do my Zangief laugh.
By the way, Derek, you're pitching a shutout so far, man.
I'm pitching a shot. Oh yeah, I told
Yeah,
you.
no
I
no
may
bad words. You
I may not have to put the explicit tag on this episode for the first time.
I'm so proud, man. I'm getting verklempt. Talk about yourselves.
I haven't had to talk much about Randy Orton this episode.
Just call him what he is, a Delta Bravo.
There you go. He is the biggest Delta Bravo of Delta Bravos. Dan, I hear round 2 is nothing but New Japan questions.
I told you I'll lose.
I will tell you this. As I told Derek when we were talking about beforehand, there is one New Japan question in here. I had to do it for him.
Chris, have you ever had a chance to watch Lucha Underground?
Yes. Well, I've been watching it on Netflix.
What season are you
because
on? The first?
yeah, I'm on the first season right now because I mean, when you guys talked about it, a couple episodes ago is when I was like, oh my gosh, it's on Netflix finally. So
I'm locked.
I don't. Okay, you're locked in. All right, Mike, did I hear you right?
Yes, I am locked
Okay.
in.
All right, Dan, you feel like talking it out?
Yeah, I got one left. The Jonathan David Good, and I've got in my head who I think it is, but I can't think of his name.
Well, just talk it out. Maybe it'll come to you.
It was man.
He's talking it out in his head.
Yeah.
I'm talking it out to myself.
Well, Dan, we can't change our answer, so you can let those thoughts fly without us.
Well,
I don't want to change my wrong answers anyway.
I can't remember who did the body slam challenge that Andre the Giant won and started throwing money out to the crowd. God, dog it. It's probably not even that guy, but I can't remember the guy's name.
Dan, you still there? Did your webcam freeze?
I'm still here.
You just
Nice,
went
Tony.
really still there for just a sec.
He's thinking really hard.
I wasn't breathing there for a sec. Thanks for waking me up. Oh, God. I think I'm just going to have to leave that one blank because I can't think of the guy's name. Maybe I'll think of it by the time I get to do the rest of the
Okay.
names.
Well, how about this? How about you give your first three answers? And,
Okay. Well, I know for sure Steve Lombardi is the Brooklyn Brawler. Rebecca Quinn I put down as Charlotte Flair. Aurelian Smith Jr. I put down as Roman Reigns. And Jonathan David Good. I can't put a name to who I'm thinking of. God, dog. I know who I want to say. That's just it. I can't think of the guy's name.
I know who I want to say, but I just can't say it.
Yeah.
It's killing me.
Are you tapping out?
I'm tapping out. I don't want to hold up. So yeah, I'll tap out.
Mike, why don't you go ahead?
Oh yeah, put me on blast with all these wrong answers. Okay, for Aurelian, I went with Iron Sheik. Rebecca Quinn, I went with Moolah. Steve Lombardi, Brooklyn Brawler, and Jonathan, I went with Cena.
All right. So before Chris asked the question, he said there were two legends, one of which should be in the Hall of Fame but is not. So with Aurelian Smith Jr., I went with Davey Boy Smith Jr. For Rebecca Quinn, I said Becky Lynch. For Steve Lombardi, I said Brooklyn Brawler. And for Jonathan David Good, I said John Cena. Are we there, Chris?
He's probably just writing down.
Oh. Or the lightning got him.
That could have been the same because
Chris? Oh, I think we lost him.
I think we lost him too.
Yeah, I think the lightning got him.
we all get 30 points.
Hold on, I'll text. He'll send me a text.
Why don't you pause the recording because I need to go to the bathroom anyway.
Okay, cool. Just
And
lost
we can edit that out.
for a second.